Total Retail, in partnership with Fidel, is proud to announce the release of its latest research report, Customer Loyalty in a Fragmented Retail Market: How Retailers Can Leverage Data to Create Long-Term Relationships with Their Customers. To download your copy of this report, go to mytotalretail.com/resources.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi, I'm Joe Keenan of Total Retail, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I am joined today by Katie Harnato, who is the global head of Amazon Handmade. We're going to talk a little bit about the Amazon Handmade business and the experience for customers and its sellers on the platform. So thanks for joining me, Katie.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
So let's start by having you tell us a little bit about the Amazon Handmade shop, and maybe tell us a little background on why this particular shop was founded as part of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. So Amazon Handmade started, we're coming up on our 5th anniversary this October. So it started about 5 years ago in the US. And it started because customers literally started writing letters to Jeff Bezos and said, we want a handmade store. We can get anything that we want on Amazon right now, but we want to be able to buy handcrafted goods. Obviously, the trust level is high for Amazon, so it was, how can we have a shop where we can purchase handcrafted, unique items from sellers? And that's where Handmade was born. We are now in 8 countries: Canada, Mexico, and in the EU, we're in UK and Germany. And we have makers from over 80 to 90 countries now. So we're just growing by leaps and bounds.
And for customers that aren't obviously familiar with the Amazon Marketplace, is it just an extension of that? Tell us a little bit about how shoppers would find the Handmade shop.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy. You shop by all departments. You can filter by all departments and scroll down to Handmade, or you can just go into Amazon and type in Handmade and you will get sent to the Handmade storefront. And once on the Handmade storefront, if you're an artisan, you can list to sell your products there. Or if you're a customer, you can shop by categories. You can shop by, we have gift finders, so you can put in, hey, I'm looking for a gift for my mom or for my dad. With Father's Day coming up, you might want to shop our Father's Day shop. And every item that you see will have been handcrafted by a maker or an artisan.
So that leads into my next question in terms of you referenced some of the products. Let's talk about the types of products that are found on the Handmade shop, and then also the types of brands and makers that you're attracting. You want to give us a little information about that?
Yeah, so the way Handmade works is if you want to be a handmade seller, you have to apply. So they go in and they fill out an application, and you tell us a little bit about both your product and how you make it. So that's one way that we're a little bit different, because we ensure that the products that are on the Handmade site are made by a maker. So once that happens, we really take anything and everything that's genuinely handmade, because there is a customer for everything. And as you know, Amazon has a huge customer base, but what they're looking for are these unique products. So we have jewelry, home and kitchen, we have clothing, we have a wedding shop. So you can, if you're looking for items for the bride, items for the bridesmaid, but you can also just shop for yourself. Like, I'm looking for something great. I'm looking for a necklace. We have customizable items. So you might want a t-shirt with your name on it. You might want a necklace or a bracelet with your kids' names on it. So really anything that you can think of that's genuinely handcrafted is probably found on our store.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about the vetting process for these third-party sellers to ensure that they're the right fit for the Amazon Handmade shop?
Sure. So like I said, they do have to apply. And one of the things that we're looking for is, because anybody could sell on Amazon, right? So there is a huge third-party seller initiative. I know you probably know this and have talked about it before, but more than half of everything sold on Amazon is from a small or medium business. So we know that there is a place to sell anything. So specifically in the handmade store, what we're looking for is really someone who identifies and calls themselves an artisan or a maker, somebody who's truly handcrafting the items, who has their hands in all of the process. So they'll apply, and sometimes they send us pictures, sometimes they will explain how they are making it. Obviously, with each item, it's made completely differently, and we have artisans who might do everything from a ceramics or a bowl to also paintings or something else that they've handcrafted. So there's a wide variety of makers out in the world, and all we are ensuring is that in order to be in the handmade store, you really just have to prove to us that you are hand making this or hand altering it somehow. Once we know that, then we feel great about inviting you in, and you have access then to all of Amazon.
So for these artisans, I would imagine a couple questions in regards to the artisans. They're from across the globe, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then is there a volume requirements that they need to have, or could they literally go up and sell one painting? And what is that like?
Yes, there is no volume requirement. So, and what I always remind my entire team is that we can't just go out and buy more product. These people are literally hand making it. So we have artisans and makers who might only have 10 units, and they might say, this is what I'm going to make this year, and when it's sold, it's sold. We also have artisans and makers who are able to create their products at a higher volume, and they might have that. So I would say we run the gamut across the board of, a maker who might sell 10 to 20 units a year, all the way up to makers who are able to sell much, much more and at a higher volume.
And then let's turn into the other side and talk a little bit about the shopper experience, the customer experience. So what are you doing at Amazon Handmade to ensure that your customers are getting this curated local shopping experience when they visit the site?
Yeah, this is so exciting for us, and one of the things that we've been working on a really long time. But we recently launched a shop from your local maker experience. And the reason we did that is coming out of the COVID-19 situation, we heard from our customers, hey, how do I shop local? How do I shop small? I want to support the makers in my community. And with storefronts closed, right, and other not the opportunity to go shop or maybe go into their stores, they wanted to be able to say, how am I helping the folks in Washington, in my region, in the Pacific Northwest, in the Northeast? And so what we did is we curated a collection of artists and artisans in specific regions. And we made it so when you go in, you can actually shop your region or a region you wanted to support. So Joe, where are you from?
We're in Philadelphia.
So you could shop by your region. You could literally go into your city and you could say, I want to see artisans from there. And then they would show you the products. You could purchase a couple products, you could purchase one, and you would know as a customer that you were shopping small and supporting your local artisans. And in a time like this, I feel like that brings us all together, and it's really an opportunity to extend our community. E-commerce has been able to bring together, I think, a lot of people lately, and especially on handmade and with the maker community.
Yeah, that's a great point, Katie. And it leads to me to a question in my mind is, did you see a surge as we kind of move out of, hopefully emerging out of this pandemic and moving on? Did you see a surge in these small businesses that might have had a local storefront, which would have been closed, then trying to sell their goods on Amazon Handmade? Did you see kind of an increase, a surge in your sellers?
We did. And I think for me, it's so beautiful because I can say these makers have a place to continue to make money. And we heard from artisans who'd been with us for all 5 years, hey, this is great. I'm still able to pay my bills. I'm still able to keep my house moving because of Handmade and because I can continue to sell my products. And we also saw an influx of artisans who said, hey, my storefront's closed, but I need a way to get my products out there. We've also seen a huge shift. We've seen artisans who were sewers and sewists, excuse me, who were making pillows and making home decor switch to making masks. And we've seen, I think there's something really special about the maker and artisan community. They are able to react so quickly to what's going on in our communities today that they're able to reach out and say, I can fix that. I can make this better. And I've heard from customers that have said, Amazon Handmade's kept me going. It's my new guilty pleasure. I just sit there and shop and read about these artisan stories and read about the makers and look at what they're making. And I've heard from makers saying being able to make something that's making a difference right now, creative, something artistic. We've noticed that people are purchasing more handcrafted items because you just want something tangible that you can hold on to right now. And it's really brought to the forefront, I think, a refocus on creativity, a refocus on art, and e-commerce has been the conduit. Amazon is the conduit to us being able to have these products. So it's been a really amazing experience to live through this, especially with this community.
Yeah, and you just addressed the surge in artisans selling on the platform. And then conversely, I would imagine, to your point of, consumers want to support their local businesses. They want to see the stores in their community that have been closed. They want them to be able to make a living and reopen. And that you've seen a surge in shopping from the consumer side and demand for these types of artisan products on your platform.
Yeah, it's been really great. We've seen a surge in new customers, but we've also seen a surge in returning customers. And I've just been so pleased with the outcry of, hey, I want to be able to shop local. I want to be able to shop small. This is important to me. Thank you, Amazon, for giving me this opportunity. And we have been flooded. Our site has been flooded. We have been working hard to ensure that the artisans are able to keep up with their handcraft. And there's so many different kinds of makers and so many different kinds of products. There literally is something for everybody.
And then my final question, Katie, is just kind of looking ahead a little bit and what you and your team and the Amazon Handmade shop, what are you doing to promote this business and keep it growing? As you noted, you've kind of had this surge recently as people look to buy from small businesses. What can you do to continue that momentum through the rest of the year and moving into years to come?
Yeah, we are so invigorated right now by what's coming. When you read about consumer reports and you read about consumer trends, everything says that we are getting back to the basics with this kind of purchasing and this kind of retail focus. It's going to need to be something handcrafted. It's going to need to be something made by somebody with some impact, either socially or sustainably in our communities. I have a feeling that we are going to see a resurgence of craft and a resurgence of creativity across the board that almost always comes out of pandemic and times like this. On Handmade, I have been invigorated that it's not just the US. We have had huge opportunities to partner with the NHS in UK. We have a Rainbows of Hope campaign going on in the United Kingdom right now. We've been partnering with PR and communities all across the world. This is the time that we need to support and shop small. We need to support our makers and artisans that are really keeping the world going right now. And I don't see any slowing. Q4 is poised to be amazing for us. We are looking forward to the surge of shopping. We have Father's Day coming up. Following that, I know that there's just going to be a huge push go forward, and I'm really looking forward to people kind of returning to what matters, something tangible.
Great. I want to thank Katie Harnato, who is the global head of Amazon Handmade, for telling us a little bit about its business today and how it's connecting artisans and small businesses with consumers. So thanks for joining me today, Katie.
Thanks so much for having me. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
Total Retail's latest research report, Customer Loyalty in a Fragmented Retail Market, offers insights into retailers' customer retention challenges, how customer data can help address that challenge, particularly data obtained in loyalty programs, the role that card linking technology can play in creating loyal customers through the collection of transactional data, and best practices for earning customer loyalty. To download your copy of this report, go to mytotalretail.com/resources.